enjoy the beers. Yes, Rascal and Disco beer review with me, a Disco, coming at you with another beer video from in front of the cans and bottles here on the bar. I'm still historically calling the Disco Arms. Another little Wednesday show for you. Don't know who's about this time. It's been a fairly lovely day out there, so I suspect everybody's out and about doing their thing in the pub, which is kind of what I should be doing, or rather what I did do on the way home from work. Managed to get out of work early this week, unlike last week, where I was running late and changed the whole show because I couldn't get everything sorted. A bit more sorted today, Mr. Wilson. Good evening. Thank you for popping in. Hopefully we've got some sort of beers that might be right up your street. Wetherspoons is kind of right up my street, or just a couple of streets away. I've got at least 3 or 4 in easy reach. We're fairly well blessed with Wetherspoons around here, and have been since the mid to late 90s. I know Wetherspoons is a little bit of a difficult one, a little bit, I don't know, is it controversial? Some people hate them with a passion. Rasco, for example, won't have a bar of it, mainly because of the Wetherspoons head man, Tim Martin, and his kind of, let's call them eccentricities. I mean, Wetherspoons have got some interesting business practices, maybe. I don't think it's all as bad as it's cracked up to be. I have been myself drinking in Wetherspoons since way before they were even well known, as you might be able to see, since at least 1994, as the t-shirt says. And surprisingly, I can still fit into the t-shirt thanks to a very good friend of mine who went about with the genius idea of, when we were buying t-shirts in the 90s, buy t-shirts a size or 2 extra, so that when you're older and fatter, as we undoubtedly are, you can still fit into them. I mean, I don't know what these t-shirts looked like in the 90s on us, because we were slimmer then, but it was either an absolutely genius idea. I think this is an XL, which is kind of my main t-shirt buying size now. Although in 1994, I wasn't 18 in April 1994. So this is a 30-year-old t-shirt. Yeah. Anyway, got some beers from Wetherspoons. I kind of wanted to talk about them. Let's get the first one open. Into the glass, because I'm fair thirsty. Like I say, I did stop in my local Wetherspoons for a quick pint earlier. You might have seen the picture over on Instagram, so I will be picturing these today. I didn't bother last week because I wasn't first on promoting them or talking about them that much, and I wouldn't have had time the following day. It's been really rather busy work-wise, and I have over-poured that a little bit, but never mind. It gives me time to talk about why I've got these beers, because if you saw my video from probably 2 months ago now, where I stopped at my local Wetherspoons, the Greenwood Hotel in, nobody's quite sure whether it's Norfolk, Greenford or Sudbury Hill. It's kind of between the three, and then over the railway is South Harrow, which is where I am, and you probably have no idea about those places unless you've happened to have lived there. Even if you've gone through it, blink and you missed them pretty much. But yeah, I went in there for a beer called Disco Macaw. I'll leave a links to the video at the end, probably. I might even play a little bit for you if I get time. But yeah, I popped in there because they had a disco beer on. What with one thing and another, personally, I have not been frequenting Wetherspoons that much in the last 4 years, but then I've been frequenting many pubs at all for my own personal reasons I'm not going to get into. But yeah, I wandered in there. It was kind of mid-afternoon. It was fairly empty, and yeah, the beer fridge kind of caught my eye. When I was frequenting Wetherspoons on a regular basis, I used to go to the one further up the road here in Harrow. We were just starting to get kind of beer fridges, kind of 2014, 15, 16 onwards kind of thing. And it was good because if there wasn't that much on the taps, and my Wetherspoons around here are pretty good. There's usually something fairly decent and usually well kept. My local three out of my four, well, 3 or 4 of my local Wetherspoons do have pretty good beer. That's a discussion for a bit later, mine. But yeah, we was getting stuff like Mad Squirrel back then, and 1 or 2 others. Then we started seeing, I think, Siren appearing in there. And I was just suddenly trying to think what the others were now. But yeah, we were getting some craft beers in then. I haven't really looked at the fridges for 4 years, but I popped in there, like I say, a couple of months back with that beer. And I was, I suppose, intrigued, impressed. I was a little bit, despite keeping a vague eye on the app, I didn't realise just the range of craft beers in Wetherspoons. Sure, I've had those in the pick. Mine tends to have 50 in the fridge. Yeah, like I was saying, yeah, I was kind of surprised that there was so many. And the other thing I was kind of surprised at is the sort of breweries that are now in Wetherspoons fridges. I was a little surprised to see a few months back, Wildcard, absolutely craft brewery out east. Rasco's interviewed Jägerweiss from Wildcard, but they had some beers on tap, not just in the craft fridges, but they had some draft beer. Some, it was, I would say, basic. It was a pale ale or a bitter or a stout. Wasn't anything too adjuncty or too heavy or too crafty. Like I say, you see Mad Squirrel in there quite a lot. They're in the cans now, and Spatch and Hop Day were in there as well. And that kind of surprises me. I didn't think they'd go down that line, but obviously they've got the option to brew a beer that doesn't cost. Is going to be a factor that doesn't cost that much, so they can put it out at a lower price. So I'm quite pleased in a way, like I say, because I have frequented Wetherspoons on a semi-regular basis over the years. So it's kind of good to see these kind of beers in there, especially depending. I mean, it's quite regional. Obviously, we got fairly London-ish heavy. This one's from Suffolk. Or actually, it was some new craft brewery called Growling Dog. Judging by the can, I didn't look too closely, but this one and the one I've got later was the one that most, it kind of appealed because it's kind of bright. It ticks all the boxes that I like, all the information on the can, except on this one, the brewery. And I was surprised to see, obviously, lots of traditional breweries are now doing the craft game. And I hesitate to use the word craft. Not a big fan of the word craft beer and all that. It's just beer because, like I say, there's so much crossover now, so much craft breweries doing traditional beers, pale ales, etc. And now there's a lot of what would probably been traditional breweries. I was drinking this brewery, so I didn't say who it was. It was Nethergate, by the way. I put it in the description. Yeah, so Nethergate, I think their main beer that I've always seen in Wetherspoons, not so much these days, but Old Growler, a big, hefty, chunky, darker ale, I think. So to see them again in the beer festivals that they did, Nethergate was probably one, along with the likes of Rudgate, along with, I suppose back in the day, likes of Hobgoblin and that sort of stuff. But interesting to see them do something different. And not only that, they're kind of supermarket prices. When you're paying a couple of quid a pint, as I am around here for beers, to see craft breweries coming in at $3.50, I think these were $3.59. It's a 7.5% tropical IPA, so we're nudging on double IPA. We're nudging on dipper territory with this. Let's have a look. It looks proper juicy and tropical in the glass for sure. That lovely kind of goldeny orange colour with a big creamy, yeah, it's fairly creamy head. Dissipated a little bit, but there's a little bit of cream sitting on top there. And some lacing beginning at the top of the glass. Let's dive in. As soon as I say that and talk about the aroma, the old nozzle starts to kind of block up a bit. I don't know, it must be a psychosomatic thing. I can smell a little bit of tropical juice going on. Minus 2 for 5.90, 3.45 for one. I'm gonna have a. I've got the thing lined up actually. I'll have a look at that in a minute. I haven't worked out how to do. I was going to show the app and go through it, but I can't do that. So I've got a screenshot. I will have a look at it. I think mine does 2 for 5.90 as well. Like I say, this is all kind of a little bit new to me because I haven't seen too much of the craft beers in the last 4 years. I haven't seen that development. I've only been in 3 Wetherspoons in the last 4 years, and not many more pubs. Let's get this one down and have a little taste. See just how tropical is this IPA for 7.5%. It says there, great ale with bite. Well, let's have a look. Cheers. Okay. Oh, you know when you go into a beer sometimes, and if you're not, well, the David Wilson photograph will be coming up. I will do that one. I nearly forgot. Yabbering on. Yeah. So if you're not a beer reviewer, you probably do go into beers with these kind of preconceptions of what they're going to be. I try not to be. I try to keep that kind of keep that back, not making any assumptions. But sometimes you just can't help it. So the other kind of tagline for this one, let's talk about craft beer in Wetherspoons, could have been, how bad can it be? Because Wetherspoons does have a lot of detractors. It does make you sort of think a little bit, like, what sort of beers are they going to get in? But like I say, when there's recognised craft breweries like Anspach and Wildcard in there, it's not really a question of how bad it's going to be. It's a question of how good is it going to be. You can hear still me waffling on over there. I should do the photograph this way probably, so I can photograph. I can't photograph all you lot watching, but there you go. Yeah, it comes across pretty well. Bright colours on the can. I just nudged the camera there. Yeah. But I try not to go in with any preconceptions of how good, bad, or otherwise it's going to be. But thinking about Nethergate, thinking about how they do kind of fairly traditional bitters, real ales, predominantly certainly Wetherspoons, how are they going to fare with craft beer? Now, I don't really bother with the term craft beer. As I call it, it's just beer. It's made much the same way. The process is the same. As I said before, somebody asked me on the bar the other week or the other month, what's the difference between craft ale and real ale? And I said mostly the method of dispense, usually. And it is the same. It's like you can get craft breweries now producing perfectly decent cask beer because the process is the same. And I imagine so is the cans. So this one, for a tropical IPA, and bear in mind, I've said before, I'm not a big fan of these IPAs, especially the tropical ones, unless they really hit that fruit note right. And for me, for this one, it's a good solid body on the beer. It's not quite pillowy. It's definitely kind of juicy. There's a kind of thick kind of orange juice kind of thing, consistency going on. Not so much on the taste. Good day, Sammy. Good day. Greetings from down under. This is certainly, I would say, your territory. 7.5% tropical IPA. I always use the term kind of rough around the edges. It's got that kind of slight hop bite. They managed to take it away from grapefruit, and that's when I find that hop bite gets exacerbated a little bit. So it kind of doesn't sit right. It's not balanced. This one is kind of balanced. There's a kind of slightly rough kind of malty undertone to it, but it's got a soft, or certainly smooth body to it. There's no outliers. There's no sharp hop notes. There's no pine. There's a touch of citrus and some I don't know, maybe it is peach, perhaps. Maybe it is. It's nice. It's a big beer. So they've done well to come in with a big balanced beer at that ABV, 7.5%. It's definitely summery. It's definitely bright. It's definitely got some kind of fruitiness to it. Without a distinct fruit note for me. Like I say, this brewery, much more well known for doing best bitters, darker ales perhaps, and I suppose IPAs. Slurpee, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Wetherspoons Wednesday. Looking at 7.5% tropical IPA, picked up in my local Wetherspoons. I imagine, Slurpee, if they had a Wetherspoons on the island, you might be right, but they haven't yet. I don't know if they'd allow one. But yeah, as big, bold IPAs go, this is yeah, disco hums. If Wetherspoons want to buy my house, they can't. I'm living in it. But yeah, no. I was at my local Wetherspoons earlier, as I say. I will. I was going to do a little video there. I had a pint earlier at my local Wetherspoons, and I didn't put it in there. Where'd it go? Oh no, that's why. Because we're doing it this way. Oh, there we go. Well, that didn't work. Why did that not work? There we go. I had a pint of Elgood's Golden Newt. Looks pretty good in the sunshine after work. Nice. I'd say traditional kind of golden ale. In the sunshine, came up really nice and sharp. Not too far off of this, I suppose, but a bit more golden. Definitely clearer. A beautiful creamy head. Nice kind of citrus note. Again, no grapefruit, no hoppiness. I was well pleased at that. Came in that pint 179. Showed 199 on the app, which I was quite surprised at. But jolly good nonetheless. So I was really pleased with that. Looked pretty good. Took a few photographs. I was going to do a little review. As you can see, it went down pretty well. Lovely looking lacing on there. Lovely, a little pub as well. I didn't show that. No, that's not worked. I'll find a way of showing stills on here. Yeah, so 179 on that one. Yeah, nice looking pub. Yeah, it's lovely old kind of late 20s pub from when this area was kind of all built up Metroland, so it's got a lot of kind of Art Deco stuff. I didn't get a chance to pop inside. I was going to do a little video inside. I might have to do like a little review of it, I think, over the summer if I can get up there one afternoon. I don't think they really like people filming in there and doing content in there, but I might have to have a little guerrilla gig up there, wander around, because it's really nice. They've got all this done up really well. They've got all this kind of, I say, old Art Deco. There's a bit out the back where there used to be a stage, and these beautiful, massive kind of Art Deco kind of lampshades. There's like 3 different bits, and then there's a couple of offshoot rooms as well. It's almost a little bit maze-like in there. And I say, evening, Steve. Greetings. Cheers for popping in. Hope you got a beer on. Missed a few beer comments up here. Sorry about that. Chocolate salted caramel stout, 5.8, solid. Love a bit of that. Sammy's kind of thing as well. I wish Australia had a spoons equivalent. Yeah, that's the funny thing about spoons. You'd think, I don't know, are they world domination? Because they've gone to Ireland, got a few pubs in Ireland, north and south. I haven't got any further yet, but Australia would kind of be their territory, but a bit spread out. I don't know how they do the distribution. Got a big distribution network here on, I think, courier from DHL, where they put all the food and all the beers go to all the Wetherspoons. So they've got a good network for getting local beers further away. So you could pop up to like Scotland and find a Nethergate or a Mad Squirrel. Technically, I don't quite know how the distribution system works, but it is good for finding beers and finding beers cheap, finding new breweries like the one coming up, actually, for much the same reason. I'm really impressed with that. Colour me a little bit shocked. I didn't think I would be. I thought I was going to struggle with this one. It's definitely a beer that if I was in the spoons and there wasn't anything much exciting on the taps, if I got that in the fridge, it's really nice. It's kind of, there is a bit of kind of oatiness developing. I'm going to go and grab the magnifying glass, have a little look on the side, see what I can find. But I'm kind of really impressed with that. I'm really pleased with it. No specific fruit flavors, but definitely some kind of random stone fruit, touch of citrus, but not massive. Maybe a touch of sort of mango. There's a slight earthiness coming off the back end later now, but it's not. It is balanced. It's got some good notes to it. I don't know if it's because we just said about chocolate, but there's almost a chocolate kind of dark chocolate bittery fruitiness there as well, which is odd. Not unpleasant though. Here's one, slap his way in. My mate said he's off to prepare food for homeless and down and outs. If you worked at the Salvation Army, he said no Wetherspoons. Classic one. Yeah, again, that was another one. That was why I cancelled last week, because I did have a bunch of picks and I was going to pop in there. So I think I might have to do that as a standalone thing, because it is a really nice pub. And that is one of the things about Wetherspoons. Say what you like about the main man and the way he runs the business. And there is an argument that if you get a Wetherspoons open up nearby, all the other pubs shut down because they just can't compete on either price and or service. But then there are some people that steadfastly won't go to Wetherspoons, so they'll stay at the local regardless. I say this one. It was one that it was a pub, as you can see. I don't remember it being that big as a pub. I know they've added on a bit out the back because it's also a hotel, so they've put rooms in as well now. Funny enough, I've never stayed there because I just walk home. But it was always pretty kind of grotty, run down. I only ever went there once, despite it only being, I don't know, 20-minute walk, I guess, from me. There was another one, 15-minute walk down in Rayners Lane that we always used to go to, a bunch of us, Wetherspoons, obviously. But this pub, as a pub, don't know who owned it, don't know what the beer was like. But Wetherspoons have done it up real nice, really nice. It looks as good inside as it does there from the outside. And That's one of the good things about Wetherspoons, for me anyway. That's when they do that, when they take an old pub or an old building and have a reasonably sympathetic, at least externally, and do well. I'm sure everybody out there, you've got your own versions of that. Some, like local Wetherspoons, are a bit kind of high street box. I reckon it's roughly 1 in 7, 1 in 8, maybe 1 in 10, something like that. But every now and again, you just walk into one and go, oh, wow. Doesn't have to be a big one either. There's some quite small ones that are really nicely done. Even like what used to be the smallest Wetherspoons, the one in Eltham, used to be a bank. And it's quite nice, or was quite nice in there. Not amazing like this one. But yeah, every now and again, you kind of just walk into one if you go to them regular. I did end up kind of collecting them. I'm a bit like that. I like a little list. Got up to 455-ish. Well, that was before a whole bunch closed down and a whole new one opened up. So at some point, I'll get back to ticking the rest of the list. But I think there's 850 something now, so it's a smaller list. Went to Lidl and got a keg and Spartan. Keg of Spartan. Oh, a keg and wrist beer. 5.5%. Do you know what? Lidl is another one that's just a little bit too far of a walk for me to bother with. I go to Aldi and don't generally get much beer there, to be fair. What I'm trying to say is Wetherspoons a good alternative? It's supermarket prices, but judging on this rate, $3.59 for that, that's quite good actually. A little bit of oatiness, porridginess creeping in at the end. Like I say, a little bit indistinct on the fruit, but that's not a problem because it doesn't go too wild here or there. So I'm quite pleased with that. It was still available today, looking on the list of Wetherspoons, my Wetherspoons anyway. Don't know how far it gets out. I say it's from Suffolk. My only local selection of real ale is Spoons. So lucky. Yeah, exactly. Often you'll get a pub, oh, we've got real ale on it, and I'll be like, we've got cask beer, we've got a cask mark, and it's like a badly kept cask of Doom Bar or something, just so they can tick that box. But as I say, the Spoons, certainly the Greenwood have a really good selection, and I think they keep their beers pretty well. I don't know them who's in there anymore, but and I never did, but they seem to get a good range. They've also got a really big bar, so they probably do have at least half a dozen real ales, apart from the trio of Doom Bar, etc. On. And my other one over in Harrow, I used to know the guys that ran it and run the real ale there, and their beer was excellent, well kept, well chosen. There's always some I was not that fussed about, like a hoppy IPA from a trad brewer. That's fine, but it was always pretty much well kept. Cider, different game, 7.5% Black Dragon. Yeah, I've seen that one. I probably have had that, but I'm sure I was well over the limit anyway, so I didn't really notice it, to be fair. Wasn't really drinking cider so much then. Bit more now. Cider in Spoons. You get some good beer at the Spoons. My favourite cider in Spoons, as is anywhere, you don't see it very often these days. They often will put a bag in box of Snail's Bank on, and I've said this before about cider. Well, hey, Mr. Ford, good evening to you. Thank you for dropping in. Good man. Hey, an old drinking buddy of mine. Hope to catch you for some beers soon. Yeah, Wetherspoons, eh? Who'd have thought me doing a show about Wetherspoons? That's that one down, Hatch. 7.5% tropical IPA from Nethergate over in Sudbury in Suffolk. I really should have popped into them. Okay, so here we go. What you looking at? A smack of mango, pineapple, and papaya. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, brings an abundance of sweet, fruity notes. A full tropical taste dances your face off to steel drums, while a hoppy, bitter finish. Now, I didn't get hoppy or bitter, pleasingly. Tingles your backbone. Tag teams like a boss with something spicy. Yeah, no, absolutely. You could get that with some curry or probably some jerk chicken, I think would work. There is oats in it. I called that one right. Yeah, no fruit. It's just off the hops. I'd love to know what the hops are, but they won't tell me. No, nothing else. Brewed by Nethergate Brewery, Sudbury, Suffolk. Yeah, really pleased. I'm getting a kind of odd, like chocolatey, porridgey note at the end. No bitterness for me. No. Say no grapefruit, thankfully. Okay, sir. What to drink most of the time. Well, it's not as bad as a lot of people make out. Mersey Bears, good evening to you. You got any skin in the Wetherspoons game? Normally, you got a lot of good information for me about the beers. Yeah, what do you think about Wetherspoons? I've been to a couple in Liverpool up your way, and I was very drunk, so I don't really remember which ones, to be fair, off the list. Mr. B. Brambles, Blackberry Breweries, good evening to you, sir. Also been to more than a few Wetherspoons up your way as well. More so than Liverpool, actually. Mostly, actually, I've had a couple of nights out. Hey, do you remember that, Chris? In Manchester, so I've done a few spoons up that way. I don't think I've done the Stockport ones. Right, well, I really enjoyed that, and I'm somewhat shocked about that, even though Nethergate is a brewery that I quite like from back in the day with all the traditional kind of beers they did. Don't remember too many, actually. I only remember Old Growler, which was a big old in-your-face of a beer. Okay, not surprised. Not a Spoons fan. Most of the ones in Liverpool are awful good for breakfast. That's it, really. Fair play. This is what I'm saying about this. Is why I'm kind of asking the question about craft beer. Like I said earlier, I was like surprised to see A, the amount, and B, the sorts of breweries and good established craft breweries, certainly London craft breweries in my local Wetherspoons. Maybe not too much from out of town so much, except this one. This was one kind of I noticed. I had been looking at this brewery. It's Tenby Brewing down in South Wales, a place I used to holiday at. We used to, we used to get the train. We used to go for day trips. Lovely sandy beach in Tenby. So it's a place. I wouldn't even sound that well. I don't just remember the beach. But yeah, I saw this brewery a while back, and I saw the name of this beer, Son of a Beach. Kind of memories of childhood there. So I've been wanting to pick this one up, and I've been thinking they've got some other good beers on Tenby website, and I was looking at them and never quite got around to it. So when I saw this one in the fridge at my local Wetherspoons, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a bit of that. I wasn't expecting it. Say, I was only in there to buy a pint of the disco beer. There was two people in front of me, so I hung around a bit, noticed the fridge, and I thought, you know what, whilst I'm here, that'll make something to chat about. Thank you, David Wilson. Let's go straight into the photo on that one, and then we'll see what we can find about Tenby Brewing. Bear with me a second whilst I disappear off screen, do the old photograph. I don't know if I'm going to get time to put these on social media again. I struggled last week because the day after the live stream, I was in the brewery. We was doing a big brew, and I didn't get the posts up till kind of very late afternoon, early evening. And I've got the same thing tomorrow, where I think, hopefully, we are brewing another batch of our Nettle Pilsner Lager. Not a particularly difficult one to brew, particularly, but it still takes a while. Not even sure if I'm doing a live stream tomorrow. There's the photograph. Looks quite good. Comes across quite well. So I'll put it up on Instagram tomorrow. Yeah, so what else do we know about Tenby? Thank you, Adam. Put that one in there. Tenby are a very good Welsh brewery. From what I've seen, I've enjoyed. I've looked at their stuff. Haven't actually had a chance to dive into it until this one. So let's have a look. I'm going to ignore the black IPAs are lovely because to me, black IPAs are not ugly, not lovely. They're a hideous mess of malt and hops that just doesn't sit well on my palate. If you're going to do a dark beer, do a dark beer. I can see why people like them. Don't get me wrong. But there we go. So let's have a look. Quite light. If you can pick out the carbonation racing up that glass in this light. But yeah, quite light, kind of golden yellow colour. Looks all right, though. Definitely a little bit of haze on it. Let's have a little snifter. My nose is blocking up again, as it always does on these live streams. So yeah, as expected, can't pick out anything particularly distinct. But yeah, let's dive in. Cheers. Ooh. Okay. I know beer too. The Jocks play the Krauts on Friday night, isn't it? Is it Friday? Yes, it's the first one, first game up. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on about football content. As much as I love a bit of football content, I'm not aware how many other people on this channel do, so I probably won't do any. Hopefully I will watch the games. We shall see. We shall see. So yeah, I've got to check out the schedule for next week and whether I do some lives next week. Might as well. It's probably a good idea to try and squeeze one in tomorrow so that I can just keep bashing the stash. This is a bash the stash show because I've had these beers in the stash for 2 months. Some of the Pringles I recommend. They also have some pepperoni ones. Yeah, they are very nice. Oh, pepperoni Pringles. Wow. I believe he is. Yeah. First game watch along. I might pop in and have a look. I don't know why I'm watching the game. Haven't really sorted it out. I was hoping to do it at the brewery. I was talking about showing the games, but one or two other things getting organised. That didn't really happen. It's an interesting one from Mr. B. Had a pint in cask of Turning Point Neon Raptors apple pie stout. Oh no, probably the worst beer I have drank in a very long time. Fake on top of fake. Yeah, that's the thing about apple beers, are very, very difficult to get right. I have got a couple of cans of that. Picked them up with the Turning Point birthday beers that I still haven't got around to yet. I never did post on Instagram the reviews of last year's birthday beers that I did this year. So I've got the new ones coming out. I've still got the disco beers to do from Turning Point, and this year's disco beers are coming out early in July, just before my birthday. So I've got to kind of get that one in. I've got to do the video from the previous disco. There is a lot of stuff coming up. I'm just too busy. But it's disappointing to hear that apple pie stout. It sounds an odd one because, like I say, apple is really difficult in a beer, especially as apple is often seen as an off flavour unless you're actually meaning to do it. Apple stout, I had one from Siren in 2020, and I wasn't sure about that. I think apple, Pervo did an apple sour a few years back. I was looking at that the other day. I don't think apple in beer. I think apple should be in cider and probably leave it at that, to be honest. So yeah, that's disappointing to hear. Sorry about that, but I do love Turning Point. So Turning Point news this week, bringing back a couple of old favourites. Milk Foley, the strawberry cream ale. It was in Sainsbury's a while back. It was okay. I wasn't so fussed on that one, but I'll probably pick up a couple of cans. But one of my favourite Turning Point beers, and I think it was my beer of the year in 2020, or at least a beer of the year contender, was mango Sunshine Indoors mango saffron and mango lassi pale ale. It was like a Vault City beer before Vault City became Vault City, and yeah, a big creamy mango, just absolutely immense beer. So that'll be coming out Friday, and I should probably pick some of those up. I do like Turning Point. Again, there's a few people that don't. Fair dues, fair dues. Apple shouldn't be in beer unless it's a graph. I've vaguely heard of that and don't know too much about. Oh, that's the other apple beer. Was that one that Wild Beer did, where they kind of brewed it rather than putting it on the boil? They just brewed it with like hot bricks. It was an aftertaste and a very synthetic note. Yeah, I think that's easy to do with apple, because apple is so difficult to work with because of all the the tannins and the chemicals. So I'm not surprised. I am disappointed. I have got one, so I will try it. Whether I get round to actually print up as a review, do it on the live or whatever, I don't know. And again, I've got cans. You've had casks, so who knows? Who knows? Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I like I say, because I can see Apple being very difficult to work with. Mark Jones, good evening, good evening. Do you know I haven't announced this one? I'll tell you what I haven't done. Once again, completely forgot to do the banners. So Miss Beer number one was drinking Nethergate Brewery, Growling Dog, 7.5%, tropical IPA. And I've been reminding me about the banners. So yeah, beer number two. Beer number two, please. Is 4.2% Hoppy Session Pale from Tenby Brewing, South Wales. Mark Jones, thanks for joining us. What have you got in a glass, if anything at all? It's not compulsory, but thanks. But if you are, enjoy, and thanks for popping in. Yeah, so this one I was a little bit again, like I said, you shouldn't preempt, you shouldn't go in with judgments, but I do because it said Hoppy Session Pale, and as well, you know, I don't like hoppy anything, let alone session pales, but I gotta try them, mostly for the review purposes. I personally don't get much hop on this. It's kind of funny. Definitely session. It's quite light. The carbonation helps go down pretty easily. At 4.2%, yeah, definitely fairly session. As I say though, not getting too much in the way of hop. Let's see if we can find what it is. Son of a Beach, flagship pale ale, is refreshing and sessionable with tropical fruit and citrus hop notes and a balanced bitterness. Delicious anywhere but best on the beach. Sadly, once again, doesn't tell me. I would love to know the hops just so I know. You know, I don't know too much about the hops, but I'd love to know what they are just because I want to know what I'm getting and what maybe those hops I want to replicate elsewhere. So it says citrus, tropical fruit and citrus. I'm not even going to guess what those hops are for fear of making myself just random guess. I mean, if anybody does know, do let us know. That'd be lovely. But it is actually reasonably balanced. There's not a lot of tropical fruit notes, say maybe compared to that, where there was definite kind of tropical fruit notes without being a specific fruit. Don't drink food week now. Fair play. Just going from delivering what seems to be all over the country. Well, if you're going out delivering, fair play. You can't. I'm not delivering tomorrow, but I'm out driving on Friday, so maybe I won't do a live tomorrow. But yeah, no, fair play, fair play. Let me do the drinking for you. Had a Rivington something sinister to rectify the taste last night. That was a cracker. But I doubt you would be a fan. No. The Rivington beers I've had, I have to say, I wasn't massively fussed. I thought that might be the case. I only got them because they had a beer with disco named something like a disco ball. And I suspect that there was a problem with that beer. And I think I said as much in the review. It wasn't great. It was like an apricot or peach sour or something. But the other ones I had a few of the, again, it's all pale ales, isn't it? So, yeah, not massively a fan of Rivington. Gave them a go, gave them a fair try. Had a few other beers just apart from that one. 500ml cans, though. Can't go wrong with that. Mosaic Equinox Sip, is that in? That's the Son of a Beach. Okay. Three hops that. I can kind of see the Simcoe, I think. Sort of, yeah, maybe kind of like a. Again, it might be psychosomatic because I think Simcoe, I think coconut, and I can never get coconut taste in a beer, but that's that kind of more earthy, vegetal kind of note. Ukano, was it Equinot? I would say Ukano, but that's like, uh, is it quinoa or quinoa? Equino or Equinot. Oh yeah, cheers, Mersey. Thanks for that. So Mosaic, very, very standard. Well, not standard, but yeah, see that in a lot. And I think that forms the basis of beers I'm not that fussed on, Mosaic. It's interesting though, because this one, yeah, it is definitely sessionable. I'm smashing through it. Some really good lacing, you have to say. Not so much on a carbonation there now, but still good colours. A good sessionable beer. That kind of citrus tropical note is coming through a little bit more now. It's kind of going towards grapefruit, but it's kind of pulled back. So definitely sessionable, definitely drinkable. A good first look at Tenby, I think. I'm quite pleased with it. I think I preferred that one. 7.5%. So there we go. Not too bad, really. I'm quite pleased with that. Does that surprise people that any beer from Wetherspoons is okay, or where we're looking at kind of arguably craft beers? Is it surprising that they're okay? That I'm pleased with it. They haven't got that hot bite. They haven't got. It's nicely balanced across the board. Maybe that's what people in Wetherspoons are kind of looking for. They do hoppy beers, obviously, even on cask. So, and that's not my thing. But these two, perfectly well drinkable, I think. Yeah, it's not something like I was talking about those Turning Point beers earlier. Turning Point is have a selection of beers that I'm going to go back to each time. Certainly that Mango Lassie one. These two, would I go back to them? Probably the Tropical IPA. Really an IPA for me because it's kind of much more balanced and fruity than maybe an IPA that I would describe as an IPA. But really pleased with them. Bear with me a second, a short interlude. What I'm going to do, and hopefully you don't all disappear because you've all seen it before, just going to have a little look back at Wetherspoons, my Wetherspoons, the Greenwood Hotel, and I went there a couple of months ago. When I had this beer. Bear with me a second. Yes, that's going to Disco Beer Review with me, Disco, coming at you with another beer video. Bonus Disco content. I do hope you can hear me because I'm out and about. And by a busy main road, couldn't find a better table. I'm at this pub with Greenwood Arms. And to have a look on the app, it is a Wetherspoons. Sorry about that for people who don't like Wetherspoons. I know Rasco hates them with a passion, but I believe they have their place, especially when I happen to notice I have a beer called Disco. This one is Disco McCaw from Red Point Brewing. Brewing know absolutely nothing about. I thought I'd had this beer once before, but I think I'm thinking of Scarlet McCaw from Oakham. But this is Disco McCaw, as you see from the pump clip, by a brewery called Red Point, who are apparently based in Taiwan. It's part of Wetherspoons Beer Festival series where they invite breweries over. This one's actually brewed apparently at Shepherd and Neame in Kent, which is not a brewery I drink a lot from because traditionally it's not a brewery I'm massively keen on. So it'd be interesting to find this one. I've got a nice bright golden amber coloured ale in the glass. Pours out really nicely. It looks good. It's quite a bubbly head on when I put it from the bar now set up and it's dissipated a little bit. It's got that kind of real ale, slightly hoppy, slightly malty aroma. Doesn't smell massively hoppy, so let's dive in. Cheers. Disco McCall. Okay, yeah. There's plenty going on with that. It's got a hop note to it, but it was all quite balanced. There's a smoothness to it. There's some tropical stuff going on, a little bit of maybe pineapple kind of stuff, mango maybe. Then there's that grapefruit kind of buzz, but it's not heavy. You know, in my videos, I always moan on about hop burn and too much grapefruit. To be fair, this one hasn't got it. I always used to find that from Shepherd and Neem. There's that kind of earthy, grapefruity hop hit. I haven't really got that with this, so pleasantly surprised. I'll give it a big slurp, slurpy style slurp. And that is all pure lacing on a glass. So I have to think it's pretty good. It was only $1.99. I'm not going to go into the politics of that. I've got opinions on that I'll keep to myself, but quite a good afternoon slurp in the sunshine, to be fair. On second go, that grapefruit is there a little bit more. It's not horrendous. It's not in your face. It's just there, balanced about some kind of tropical flavors going on. A little bit of sort of fruitiness. I'm not sure if this video is going out as part of a disco day series. I was going to go and do some disco beers today, but other things conspired against me. So this is kind of disco bonus material. Sounds like an album, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah, Red Point Brewery from Taiwan. Guest brewing at Shepherd and Neem. But yeah, nice enough beer. Fairly pleasant. Drinkable, especially for the price point. Fairly good stuff. Keep it short and sweet, and I'll sit back and enjoy the beer. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm at the Greenwood Hotel in Greenford. Lovely old Art Deco style pub. At Wetherspoons, done up very well, to be fair. Kind of a local, used to be a regular. Haven't been here for a while, but had to pop in for the disco beers. So, cheers and enjoy the beers. Thank you very much indeed for indulging me playing that little interlude of a beer video you've probably already seen. No adverts on this channel. Thank you very much indeed. Don't you, Pops and Fan? Glad you enjoyed that one. I quite enjoyed that as well. Probably a little bit, I suppose, hoppier, maybe. But yeah, so I enjoyed the point I had earlier. Like I say, the Elgoods. Kind of enjoyed this one. Goes down pretty well, keeps the lace and all. I was going to, it's the other thing I was going to do. Let's have a little look at Tenby. See what we can find. Brewing beers since 2015 here in the stunning town of Tenby on the southwest tip of Wales. Yeah, it's quite far into Wales actually, on the way past Swansea. We produce a wide range of styles, some diverse core range to seasonal releases and limited edition collaborations with our favourite independent breweries, etc. Much like every other brewery, to be fair, powered by solar. That's lovely. I always like to have a look on web shops, just see what kind of thing they do. See, 6-pack. I never want a 6-pack unless you can pick and mix it, which you can. That's good. Or 12s. Sesh Wax at night at the Gooseberry. Black Forest Gatto Stout. Oh no, I might be doing an order. Oh dear. 8% Black Forest Gatto Stout. Illuminati. Also sounds, I say, if I'm going citrus, I want to read more about that one. Don't need to be a member of some secret society hell bent on world domination, or have Lizette to enjoy a new lemon sherbet sour. Nice. We've got a lemon sherbet sour in tank, upper Paravel, so you're going to go a long way to compete with that. But I do like the look of that. That sounds interesting. There's Son of a Beach. No way! Son of a Beach, 325. Now that is unusual. I moaned a while back about when breweries put beers into supermarkets and then have those beers on their own website. I moaned about what was that brewery from Reading? Somebody reminded me the other day that I got that disco beer in, and I got it in Waitrose. It was in Waitrose at 350, and I'd picked up a couple of cans for like £4. So to see Son of a Beach on their own website at less than in Wetherspoons, that's kind of interesting to see that. Oh, there we go. If only I'd looked at that before. Mosaic Simcoe Econaut. Thank you, Adam, for pointing that out. But yeah, that gooseberry one. Let's have a little look at that. Delicious East Coast Pale offers something a little different with a pale ale, not a sour. Gooseberry sours is normally the thing. With gooseberry fruitiness and a healthy Nelson Sauvin dry hop. I'm fine with Nelson Sauvin because I get it a lot. Flavors of juicy grape, tangerine, and a gooseberry tartness wrapped up in a smooth, juicy mouthful. I like the description. I'd be into that. Let's have a quick look at the Black Forest Gatto Stout. Oh, what a pour they've put on there. Complex malt bill along with generous additions of sour cherry puree. Why does it always have to be sour? I mean, I know Black Forest Gatto is sour, but I always prefer a sweet cherry. Black Forest Gatto for can. Cacao nibs and lactose give this deluxe stout all the flavours of the famous cake, along with a hint of alcohol and easy chocolate bitters. Cherries is another difficult one to work with because of that obvious sour note. Beach Lager, Heller's Lager. Yeah, mango. That's the other one. I remember seeing that I was kind of interested in mango milkshake IPA. I do love mango, especially in a beer. Mango sweetness balanced with rounded bitterness and super smooth mouthfeel from lactose. Fair play. I don't know. I can't do a Tenby order. I've got a Brass Castle order lined up, and like I say, on Friday looks like I'm doing a order from Turning Point. Oh yeah, more Dew Welsh Stout. Wow, and a peachy summer pale ale. What's Hammerhead? West Coast IPA. Resinous pine and citrus notes, not my thing, but I do like West Coast, oddly, usually, compared to New England's. But there we go. Wow, well, there you go. I mean, that is, yeah, very reasonable prices. Always happy to see, and I'm really pleased that I've looked at that, actually, to be fair. Greetings, Shark Home Brewing. Thank you for popping in. Yes, another beer waffling review. That was quite a short waffle, to be fair. That was only a 4-minute waffle. I needed to put that in there because I had to nip for a wee and clear my nose, which hasn't helped at all. Because the old snozzer is still blocked up, etc. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Just put Red Willow Gooseberry Crumble and Balanced Gooseberry. Oh, God. I'm not sure about gooseberry because it is kind of tart. I want to like it. So it is always kind of tart. I think gooseberries, we had a gooseberry bush in the back garden a long time ago and I always found them a bit tart. Red Willow is another one I want. It's on the list to get to at some point. There's so many. Really want to do that. So that one looks good. Buxton doing amazing sour IPA with gooseberry. See, there's the sour IPA. It's not for me. If you're going to do sour, it's going to be a sour. You don't need a massive hop content of an IPA, but it's it. Gooseberries, you're going to get that sour thing. So interesting. Right, well, there we go. On to the third beer. I'm up my hour. I was going to try and stick to an hour. This is the beer that kind of made me do this series, to be fair, because as you know, I love a stout. I do love raspberries. So raspberry stout, you don't see too much. This is the one I'm really looking forward to. And now, do you know what? Having enjoyed these two, even this one, that one was kind of good. It was very sessionable, very refreshing, able to bang it back. I'm kind of worried I'm not going to like this now because I like that one so much and wasn't expecting to, even though you should go into it open-minded. But this one is a 5.5% raspberry milk stout. It says here, rich, creamy, dark, and fruity. Sounds like my kind of thing. Let's get it into a glass before I do the photo and the ticker. Tell you what we'll do. We'll take that one off first. We'll get into the glass. Kind of mostly do my stouts in this big kind of bowl glass. It's actually cleaner than it looks to the naked eye. So yeah, so stout fans, here we go. Raspberry stout, what do you reckon? Trying to make that an easy pour before that goes too mad, but yeah, nice, fairly thick, creamy head. Although there's kind of a lot of bubbles in that, and it's going to go much more bubbly. So I'm going to put that up the top and let that settle a bit before I do the photo. Yeah, so let's do the ticker. Yeah, Growling Dog, 5.5% raspberry milk stout. I can see where they're going with the Growling Dog, but I don't know, is that the name of the beer? That's just the name of their kind of craft arm, I think, Growling Dog Brewery from Nethergate again, over in Suffolk. I don't remember Nethergate doing a stout back in the day. It was always kind of your darker ales and more like kind of best bitters, but it looks good. It looks nice and dark. Always struggle doing a stout on screen because there's always the reflections to contend with. Do you know what? I might do that. I might do that as a photograph and top it up in a bit. Let's get that over there. When it comes to fruit in stout, what do we think? What do we reckon? Is that okay? Raspberries I always find difficult because I love raspberries, but I want sweet raspberries. And always raspberries are going to be a kind of slight tartness to it. So what do we think about raspberries in a stout? Don't see too many, arguably. That's annoying. This is the trouble I always have doing stouts on screen, on a live. I've kicked the camera again. Clumsy foot, but there we go. Maybe I should do it this way. I know, because then I'll be in it. Oh no. What do you reckon? That angle? Oh, that angle. Yeah, no, I think the first one is probably better. It says there, brewed and brought to heel in Suffolk. Rich, creamy, dark, and fruity. Well, let's test it out, shall we? Let's dive in. Yeah, it tops up really nice. Well, there we go. That's the 3. What do you think? What do you reckon? Let's have a little sniff of this one. Now my nose is cleared a little bit. Yeah. The fruit is not standing out, but then nor is the malt. Bear me 1 second. Let me have a... Maybe I can sniff it properly now. Cheers. I'm back on familiar territory, back on the stout. Yeah, I can smell some maltiness, but not much on the fruit tea, I would say. Okay, it's all right. As stouts go, it's neither thin nor particularly thick, luscious, and voluptuous like I want from a stout. There's definitely a bit of chocolate there. I can see the creaminess. I can see the milk stout. The raspberry's not in your face, tart. It's definitely a little bit. I think that's going to develop as it goes down, actually. There's not a big fruit flavour, but it's definitely there. It's definitely raspberry. There's a little bit of earthiness going on. But that's more from the bitterness of chocolate. I guess that's, again, from the malt. Bit of dark malt, bit of chocolate malt, black malt in there. Again, it's nicely balanced. There's no outlying kind of, like, it's not too tart, it's not too malty, not too chocolatey. I wouldn't say there's bite. This is craft ale with bite. That one, maybe a bit more bite to that one. Even at 7.5%, it wasn't a massive, like, headbanger of a beer. But yeah, there was a little bit of bite to it. The bite there is kind of bitterness, maybe. It's mostly chocolate and raspberry, which is a nice combination because you've got that fruitiness, that slightly tart. Doesn't taste. We're talking about before with apple stouts. We're talking about like that kind of slightly synthetic. It does taste like munching a raspberry. And funny enough, I had a bunch of raspberries for breakfast only at the weekend. Just a random connection, some little, chocolate brownie squares and a big punnet of raspberries. I do like that combination, the way it bounces off each other. Raspberries are one of my favourite fruits, fairly underrated, because you'd only see them in certain times. And again, in supermarkets, it's like, well, where have they come from? What are they covered in? But I do love raspberries. I love the chocolate raspberry combination. Again, for a traditional brewery, producing what's arguably a craft kind of beer combination, it's actually really nice. It's not massive. It's not in your face. It's not one that I'm like, I must have another one of those. Like some beers, like I was saying earlier. But yeah, it comes with something. It's if you're in a Wetherspoons and you haven't got a stout on, it covers that kind of stout area pretty well of craft beer. I like it. It's nice. It's my kind of thing. Of the three, it's hard to say. They've all brought something a little bit different. That one was probably the most surprising and really enjoyable. This is more my thing. I'm smashing it. I don't mean to smash it. That's kind of accidental. I'm going back, and I've done that for all three because do you remember the other week when there was a beer that I'm like, yeah, this is terrible. I've got to just smash this to get through it. I'm smashing these ones because they're actually really nice. I'll tell you what we do. Let's have a little look. Since we did that with Tenby, it's only fair to have a little look. If we can, let's have a little look at Nethergate because, like any other brewery, they've got their website. Brewery and distillery. Didn't realise that. That's a new thing. Traditionally different since 1986. Like I say, I have, apart from a large gap of the last 20 years, been drinking Nethergate since the mid to late 90s in beer terms. They've developed, they've changed. So have a look at their bottles and cans. There's their Crafty Dog range. Why isn't that working? There we go. There we go. Oh, look at that as a first one. That's a hell of a first one to note. It's a note in bottles. Is that bottle? Yeah, bottles. White Stout. White Stout. Interesting. Again, they still managed to get that kind of traditional kind of brewery vibe about a white stout that isn't really as traditional. That sounds more craft to me. I always get confused by white stouts. I love to try them, but looking at a stout and getting that kind of big malty flavors from a beer that looks kind of golden in color always confuses me. There's the main one. Let's have a look at that. That's the one I remember drinking in the mid to late 90s on cask, mostly at Wetherspoons. Didn't really see it anywhere else. Old Growler. Award-winning porter. Jesus Christ, I said it was a dark beer. Completely forgot that it was a porter. I haven't drunk Old Growler maybe once in 20 years, despite it being occasionally at Wetherspoons. Wow, I knew it was a dark beer. Didn't realise it was a porter. No wonder I love it. And it was only 5%. I thought that was a much bigger beer than that. I put it on a par with like Exmoor Beast, which again been drinking in Wetherspoons since the late 90s. Absolutely big beast of a beer. And I thought Old Growler was there, but a 5% porter. I've got to go back and check that out, I think. Toffee, roasted malt, smooth and bittersweet, dark porter. Blimey. Wow, the things you learn. I forget. Old Growler is made with two exceptional hops, Challenger and Sovereign. Traditional hops. Challenger hops are known for their fragrant and spicy character, whereas Sovereign adds a fruity note and strong bitterness to the beer. They don't want a strongly bitter porter, but, well, there you go. Let's have a quick look at some of the other beers in the range. Low alcohol amber ale. Well, everyone's got to do it. So yeah, they're sticking mostly with the bottles, apart from this Growling Dog range. Chestnut ale, Golden Craft ale. There's the Old Growler in the lineup. They've also got into cider. Fair play. Craft lager. See, they've got that craft thing. They've got to call it a craft lager. They can't just call it a lager. There's a Growling Dog Tropical IPA, $3.90 on the website. So that's less than at Wetherspoons, $3.59. $3.80 for the milk stout on the left there. Growling Dog Big Sesh IPA. That's not the Tropical IPA. Big Sesh is 4.5% at $3.70. Well, fair play. There we go. Nethergate. If I ever get back out that way, I've got my Ipswich. I have to go and have a beer. I've been to Sudbury in Suffolk. I don't know if they're actually in the town or whatever, but yeah. As breweries go, and again, they've got to have that website. They've got to have look good. All three are worth trying. Yeah, I think they are. I think it's a bit surprising. That's why I kind of, when I stood in front of that fridge originally, I went, oh, this is different. This is unexpected, maybe. And also, I see the Anspach and Hob Day. I see, obviously, Mad Squirrel have been in Wetherspoons fridges for a while. And I love Mad Squirrel. I've got to get back to them as well. They're on the list to try again. I'm surprised. I'm pleased. Do let me know. Apart from David Wilson, obviously you've tried these three. Have you tried them? Are you a fan of Wetherspoons? Do let me know in the comments, because I'm interested. I want to know other opinions on Wetherspoons. Like I say, your head man it's clearly eccentric. Some of the pricing policy is a bit nuts. You get like 2 nearby towns where there's 30p difference in the lasagna for no apparent reason. 30p difference in some beers for no apparent reason. For no apparent reason, the beer I bought today, that Elgood's Golden Ale, on the app it was $1.99. I paid $1.79. I don't know. Is it like a Wednesday club thing or something? I had to think. Is it a Monday club or what? I don't know why. I'd love to be in some of those meetings in Watford. It's only up the road. I'd love to be in some of the pricing meetings where they decide what prices to put at what, how they work it out. Is it local pricing or what? It's kind of mad, but that's kind of some of the beauty of it in Wetherspoons. It's nuts. I don't know how they work it, but they do work. It works well. And whoever's buying their craft beer, based on these 3, I'd like to go and have another look and maybe pick up another 3 at some point. Maybe I'll go to some of the other. I'll have a look on the app and see what the others have got and see just, what that local kind of thing gets. Let's have a quick look, right? Right? So this is a good thing about the app. You don't actually have to be in the pub. You can just browse what they've got. All right, so my one in Harrow, right? I am in there. Browse the menu. Let's have a look at the craft beer offering. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you get these, like, the managers could just, if they have that thing where they could just decide to do an offer. Oh wow! See, the one in Harrow down the road, you do argue a bit. They've got Wild Child, which is another one that I can think divides opinion. Right? Oh yeah, Hamilton. Hamilton is another brewery on the list I've been meaning to get to for 4 years because I love Crunch. I haven't got around to it. I'm just looking. See, Moon on the Hill, right? Can you see there? They've got Wild Child, Yorkshire Roosters, Yorkshire. Indian Juicy Mango, what's that? Indian Juicy Mango. I don't know what that is, but it's amazing. Right, see, there we go. Handspatch and Hob Day. Wild Card by the Horns. They've got Tenby Son of a Beach as well. East London. East London, that was the one I was thinking of a while back that we had, which is almost back in the day now, 4 years ago, isn't it? No way. No way. Under the craft section in Harrow, in Harrow is Blue Monkey. And there's Nethergate Growling Dog as well. Growling Dog in 440s. Bishop Nick. Kirkstall. Oh yeah, Kirk. Seven Brothers throwaway IPA in Wetherspoons. Fair play. Oh, hang on. I've gone all a bit. Focus, camera. Oh, there you go. That's ruined it. I'm amazed at that. I might have to have a wander up to Harrow. Oh, no, my camera's on. You've tried most of those. Fair play. I might have to have a wander up to my other one, which is about 20 minutes in that direction. I only went to Greenwood really because it's on my way home from work at the brewery. Sorry about the blurriness. We're on 1 hour 20, so I think I might call it there. But yeah, I'm going to have to wander up to the ones at Harrow and maybe pick up to some of their cans because they look good too. Maybe it's a thing, Wetherspoons Wednesday. Maybe we'll do it again next Wednesday if I can pick up 3 other cans. If anybody wants to pick up some cans on Wednesday, do like a little joint stream. I'm sure Luke said he was going to come on, and I forgot to ask him. But yeah, Wetherspoons Wednesday. Let's make it a thing, maybe. So I've really enjoyed these 3. These 3 have looked really good. I'm completely out of focus now, so I think that's probably a good time to end the show. Thank you, everybody who's popped in for comments. If you're still watching at this end of it on the after event, do let me know your comments, your thoughts about Wetherspoons in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and all that. Enjoy. And all of our nearly 250 subscribers, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It's free. Thank you very much indeed. I tried that, Mr. B, and don't think anybody wants to see a close-up of my hand. Nope, doesn't work. So, on that blurry note, thank you very much indeed. I'm in Disco of Rasco and Disco Beer Review. This has been Wetherspoons Wednesday. See you soon for the next one, and whatever you do, cheers and enjoy the beers. No, can't do both. Can't cue the music. Yeah, thank you very much indeed, everybody. Cheers and enjoy the beers. Cue the outro.